Hi, this is Lexi
and Sid
of Hess Van Schlemmer Metalworks and Art, home of the Schlemmer Metal Wolves. We are a small but furious family-run welding, fabrication, and metalworks shop with CNC capabilities and now full-scale powder coating operation. We bring unique, affordable quality art to life within the realm of practicality. Whether it's signs, sculptures, railings, shelves, furniture, or even just powder coat for your rims or your patio set, give us a look, check us out on Facebook or Instagram, or call 618-670-5724. We are Hess Van Schlemmer Metalworks. That was terrible.
Oh, we tried.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Let me tell you about my friends over at Naked Vine at 1624 Clarkson Road in Chesterfield, Missouri. They swing by this week for some live music from Hunter Hamilton Group on Wednesday, September 5th. My good friend Bobby Stevens on Thursday, September 6th. Jill and me on September 7th, Friday night. And another good friend of mine, Wooden Puddin'. They're on Saturday, September 8th. So yeah, swing by and visit for these shows. Grab a glass of beer, wine, or whiskey, and enjoy the show. Also coming up next Tuesday, September 11th, I will return out to Naked Vine with my singer-songwriter storytelling showcase happening at 7 o'clock. It's a $5 cover. This month we have Emily Wallace, Kevin Babb, and Joshua Eaker, so don't miss that show. All these details and more can be found at nakedvine.net. Be sure to follow along with them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, support live music, come out to a show, and enjoy this show. Thanks, everybody.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Kevin Babb here. You're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast, y'all.
The next time I see you, I should buy you a beer. If it wasn't for you, I would not be here. Can close my eyes and find my dreams. No matter how far it seems, I know I'll shoot for the moon. But all my life I dream of going to San Francisco. Up the hills and down the bend I run to you. I got my shoes on, I'm headed down to the bay. All my life I dream of going to San Francisco. Tell me again, what do I say? I'll learn something cool, I'll learn in my way. Can close my eyes and find my dreams. No matter how far it seems, I know I'll shoot for the moon. For all my life I dream of going to San Francisco. Up the hills and down the bend I run to you. I got my shoes on, I'm headed down to the bay. And all my life I dream of going to San Francisco. you weigh myself, I might not learn. So I closed my eyes and found my dreams. No matter how far it seemed, my feet had planted on the moon. And all my life I dream of going to San Francisco, up the hills and down the bend. I ran to you. I got my shoes on, I'm headed down to the bay. And all my life I dream of going to San Francisco.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Kevin Babb.
Hey,
Welcome to the show, my friend.
what's up, dog?
Hey man, this is I love that this is happening like as often as it does, where like people I've been friendly with online for a little while, and this is a great opportunity for us to sit and talk and actually really get to know each other a little better. And so the show has been helping me out with that a lot, man. It's just fun that almost every week there's somebody that I get to make a new friend and stuff, and get to hang out. So that's the case again today, man. We've been friendly for a little while through the internet, and finally getting to meet face to face today. So
Breaking down walls, man.
yeah, man.
Yeah. People don't do this anymore. They don't meet up anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's but I love it. Like I've been having a great time getting to, like I said, work my way around the city, getting to meet all kinds of cool people. So
Yeah.
it's a whole lot of fun.
Are you from St. Louis?
Yeah. Well, I live out in Wentzville. I'm
Shit.
So I'm from the suburbs, and I've been out there all my life. Went to Wentzville High School and stuff, and all that stuff.
For being in Wentzville, you're a mobile dude, man. Every time I see your stuff on Facebook or something, you're down here. You're down in the city.
Yeah, everybody's like, you need to move down here, man. And I'm like, well, I like it where I'm at, though. Like, I mean, I'm not that I couldn't adjust, but it's like I like where I'm at. It's been home. It's all I really know.
Sure.
But I don't mind the drive. Like being out in Wentzville, like I've had to drive everywhere, so it's like I'm pretty used to it by now. So
that's cool.
So a lot of people freak out, like they think like a 40-minute drive is like forever, but it's like, I don't know. I like it because like for me, I got to listen to your record on the way over here and all the stuff.
Sure.
Like, as I'm going to an interview or whatever, I get the little drive time to prepare and think about everything. And
yeah,
so
that's cool.
Yeah,
well, that's really cool.
Or I can just sit in silence and listen.
Yeah.
Take a little break from all the music and stuff too. So
Can I pause you just for one
for
second?
sure.
Okay. Sorry, I think I know where that pop filter is. GD it.
Oh yeah.
Stick down your water, man.
Don't do that.
Broken dreams. Couldn't find it. It's cool.
Well, it was a valiant effort.
Unless it happens to be in here. Okay. All right, we're good. Okay, sorry about that. And we're back. Okay.
Yeah. So, how about you? Born in St. Louis?
Dude, I was born in St. Charles, Missouri, and my mom dated a dude that was from South City, so it's weird, when I was really young, when I was like a little 8-year-old, man, we used to hang down off like Kings Highway at his place all the time for like a year and a half. And, then they broke up, and yeah, we just hung out in St. Charles, and we've been there and out west. Like, we used to live in Warrenton. Lived in Warrenton for a minute, then we moved even further west to a little place called New Florence. Super shitty. Then we came back to Warrenton. Then we came back to St. Charles. Yeah.
Shout out to New Florence.
Yeah. Have you been there?
Just passing through. I don't think I've ever stopped in there.
I apologize for any of the listeners from Montgomery City, but my bass player's mom used to be on the art council in Montgomery City, and they would have me come out and play, but because I lived in New Florence for like 8 months, they advertised it as I used to live out there, which is true. I did live out there in 6th grade, but I mean, it was rough. There was this one asshole bully named Sean Penn. Isn't that crazy? Like,
Spicoli?
Yeah, you would never think he's going to be a bully, but his uncelebrity counterpart is a total douche.
Right.
Probably still. I mean, he's from Montgomery, so. Anyway, getting back on track. I grew up in St. Charles.
Is there like a billboard out there then in New Florence? The Kevin Babb, the pride of New Florence.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, man. Was music there pretty young when you're bouncing around, or was this something you kind of started later in life and stuff?
I've got a similar story to many out there. I'm no stranger to adversity. I went through, all the random things that you go through with a single parent, but realistically, my father played guitar, my grandmother played guitar, and my dad, he's a super cool dude, but he was a big partier, and realistically, like, I don't think he had a good father in his life, so he, of course, he's not able to be a good father to anybody else, is my personal opinion. So, at a young age, when I wanted to play guitar, he would say that my hands were too small and things like that. And it's, that's cool. But my mom, right around the time I was like 10 or 11, when we were living in Warrenton, my mom was dating this dude named Joe. Super cool guy, man. Like, he lived on some property. He had like 1,000 horses. That's a lie. He had like 1,000 dogs. He had like 50 dogs for real. But he would train horses, and he brought over this like 3/4 size guitar, and I started playing on it. He taught me power chords, and from there it was game over. Like, traded my bike for a guitar. I got a brand new guitar the following year for my birthday, and I would just play by ear, man. I would put the Californication album on from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I would just sit there and like just play by ear, and hunt down notes and just match them on my guitar until I could piece together like a riff or, realistically like a one string solo, on Californication, like the song. And then we bounced around a lot, and I don't know, like whenever I was a kid, like it's just music. It's what I'd ride my bike, I'd play guitar, I'd go to bed. Like that's how my days were, and now that I'm 30 and like looking back on it, it's like, yeah, I mean, it was probably a rock for me. It was something to do, but I don't know. It's been like the only thing I've ever stuck with in my life, including like jobs. Like I hate working for people. I hate, taking authority, and, I don't know, like I don't know. I'll tell you this. I do enjoy being my own boss because I play a lot of cover music and stuff, and in bars and hotels, and that's great. But by the time I was 19, dude, I already had like 11 jobs. And so finally, like I was like, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and just start playing cover music, and like it snowballed into me not having to have a day job, and now it's like even better than that. So
So you're a full-time musician then doing that? Yeah, very cool, man.
Yeah.
Do you think it's helped a lot with your original stuff too? Like learning, just like various styles and different things?
When I first started playing cover music, because it's every musician's dream to be like a big original artist. But when you first start playing cover music, like that's what my mindset was like, okay, sweet, like I'll do this, I'll make a couple bucks, and then I'll learn how to play different things. And I'm willing to bet, like maybe subconsciously, yes, but on a conscious state, I can't really remember any song like really, influencing one thing.
Right.
But I mean, there's like a feel, it's like a type of energy that like the songs I play have, and I can tell that my hand will sometimes do some of that stuff constantly. But
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you learn a lot of, different song structure and just melodies and everything. I mean, all of it to apply to your own, different personal stuff. Like I said, your original tunes that you wrote now. But I imagine like learning from some of the best, it couldn't hurt, It's like you said, you were listening to Californication and all this different stuff. So did John, how do you say his last name?
Frusciante?
Frusciante?
Yeah.
Did he play on that record or did he play it?
Yeah, he was John Frusciante. He's
a bad dude.
Yeah, he is. I haven't really listened to any of his original stuff, like his own. But man, I mean, there was just a legacy that the Red Hot Chili Peppers had with him. I wasn't a fan of the Dave Navarro moment. I will say that they did have a pretty cool song called Walkabout with Dave Navarro. I don't know if anyone's ever heard that, but that's just got like a cool groove to it, man. I had a buddy turn me onto that. And ironically, like outside of Under the Bridge and like Californication, I really can't play much like Chili Pepper stuff, man. Like,
There's I'm going to try to pull it up because that's one of my favorites. Here you go. This song was pretty cool. It's like a 9-minute song, so we're going to listen to the whole thing right now.
Okay, sweet.
This song, I don't know, just for me, it's very relaxing, and I mean, like, I just think it's a cool song. So it's called "Before the Beginning" off of his 2009 record.
Okay.
So
and it's really 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I don't know if. Here we go. I skip forward to the. But he does some pretty wild stuff in here.
That sounds good.
But all instrumental.
Everything's instrumental that he does?
This particular song.
Does he ever sing in any of the other stuff?
I don't know. I don't know if I've actually ever listened to the whole record, but that song somebody shared with me one time, and I'm like, I just connected to it, man. I was like, such a cool vibe to that. Just real, like I said, really kind of chill for me.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
But anyway, yeah, he's a very talented guitarist.
Yeah, he is. He is.
So you don't play a whole lot of the Chili Peppers today? You said
no. My cover song list is pretty. It's not very diverse. Well, it is diverse, but it's not very diverse in like how people would think. So people go to bars and my least favorite request is probably like Sweet Caroline. People go to bars and like you expect to hear Sweet Caroline, you expect to hear Wagon Wheel, you expect to hear all that stuff. But I've gotten pretty lucky. The 90% of my set list is all songs that I personally listen to.
Right.
And I don't know. Like I've been able to develop like muscle memory on the back of my hand with songs like that, like Island in the Sun from Weezer and Amber from 311, Big Jack Johnson, John Mayer. I'm one of those 50-50 John Mayer guys where like I'll play some of his stuff the way he does it, and then some of his other stuff it's like, man, like if I play it the way he does it, it's going to take me forever to learn the damn song. So why not just learn the root notes and just move forward? So I'll do that. But Jason Mraz, James Taylor, some Jimi Hendrix stuff. I do like this cool little medley of, When the Wind Cries Mary into something else. But it's cool. I mean, like I said, dude, I've been doing this for like 10 years.
Right.
And I remember maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I met a dude that told me that he thought that covers were a dead end. And I mean, it's been 5 years and I'm still thinking about that phrase. And sure, you can make anything a dead end. You can make a very successful job a dead end if you want to, and even some of the stuff he's doing, he does all original stuff. And, I mean, no one really knows who he is. I mean, you could say that what he's doing is a dead end.
Right.
And like I don't know, man. I think there's a lot more dead ends in original music, especially on like major label stuff, than there is like, with shit that's not on that. Like cover music, it's, it's not like I'm signed to a label to play cover music. I can go out and do that wherever, and I get to be my own boss, and I get paid per hour, and then I get to come home and enjoy the luxuries of St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, even a cover song. I mean, like you listen to the radio, and so many people hit big with a cover song, and then all of a sudden, then they introduce you to some of their other stuff, and it's like, but sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, because I know a lot of people like that have broke through with a cover song, and then they resent it because they're like, that's the only song people want to hear from them is that one song, and then they're like, no, man, we have a bunch of other cool ones that we want to play for you, but everybody wants to just hear that one. So it's kind of,
it's a double-edged sword. You're right.
Sure.
I mean, there's, I don't know, like I think YouTube is like one of the best things ever, but I think, like you said, I mean, it's really hard to push in that direction and then scale it back into an original zone.
Right.
And I mean, even Boyce Avenue, I mean, they're, from YouTube, they still pump out covers.
Sure.
Left and right.
And they pack the house too.
They do.
People love that stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into some of your original stuff. Like you, when do you start finding your voice for that? Like you're actually writing your own original stuff and thoughts and making them into some of the songs that you have today?
The answer has different parts and different chapters. It's a very long adventure. Do you want to go on this?
Whatever you want to share, okay. Man. Yeah.
All right. So the tip of the iceberg is there were so many things happening from the time I was like 16 to 21. A lot of bad shit. Not like super bad shit, but just shit that, a 19, 20-year-old doesn't want to go through. And I started writing like happy, lovey-dovey songs because I thought, in my mind, it's like, this sucks and I don't want to fucking write about like, bummer city, so I want to write about this other stuff.
Right.
And I actually remember having a conversation with this girl on Facebook in like 2009, and she's like, what'd she say? She's like, I mean, are these all personal experiences of yours? And I told her what I just said, and she's like, well, now I don't think I want to listen to your music because it's not authentic. And I was like, okay, that's fine, no worries. And so then my next collection of songs, which is the Beautiful People EP, that had a lot more feeling in it. Yeah. That was like writing about the experiences. But, I don't know, I guess because I like to listen to uplifting music, in my mind, it's like, man, I don't know, like writing about bad shit and singing all the time just kind of bums everybody out. I had a buddy who had his niece passed away, and he wrote like an album of some, in my opinion, some of the best music I've ever heard from him. And he's like, man, if I release this, and that means I have to tour this for like a year and a half and like relive those moments. And so I was like, that's a good point. That's a good point. But going back to my stuff, I don't know, like I really enjoy being lucky enough to play music and know how to do it enough to like put my feelings and emotions of like the shitty stuff that I previously discussed into music. I think that's really cool because some people don't have that. Some people don't know how to deal with their frustrations and adversity, which just like totally makes you. That's what the real problem is with me, is I just need to learn how to steer into that skid of like, hey man, like this happened to you and I need to own it and be part of it and just love on it and just like release it. Like fucking Emily Wallace. Emily Wallace does that. Isn't she awesome?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
One of the best.
Yeah.
I think that's what, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it sucks, and it's tough to sing about sometimes, and different things. But, like, I had a similar conversation the other day with some friends, and they had a song, and it was a very heavy subject matter about personal experience that they lost a child and stuff, but them talking about it, I feel like opens up a whole new world to people that also relate to that situation. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you might not spell it out exactly 100%, tell the story in the song, but but you leave it open to where people connect to that, your message and what your story is, and like, and makes you, you know, you have that personal connection or whatever. And like or, hey, you know, he's singing about my story or whatever it is, you know? So it's like, so that's how I connect to a lot of songs and like, and a lot of different artists, like, cause I feel like they're telling my stories in life.
Yeah.
So.
I just found out that 3 a.m. from Matchbox 20 was actually about Rob Thomas's mother, Rob Thomas' mom, whenever she had like cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she was sleeping all day and stuff. I was like, man, that's crazy. I just thought that this was just like douchey song from the 90s. That's so mean. Like, but
that was my very first concert. That I like, the big one that I remember my mom taking me to was
Matchbox 20?
1997, Matchbox 20, Soul Asylum, and Semisonic.
Your first big concert was a lot better than my first big concert. My mom took me to fucking see Dixie Chicks and Tim McGraw. Which I just, for first concerts, I don't know, that's really not like a great story, but I mean, my mom, I tell this to everybody. I you know, like at my gigs and I'm playing cover music and someone requests country music. It's like, I you know, disclaimer, I don't really know much country music. I know like Tim McGraw and maybe some Dixie Chicks. I'm like, well, how do you know that?
And
like,
Goodbye Earl.
Yeah. When my mother was dating a construction worker from Arkansas, you know, we would drive down to like these random work sites to visit him, you know, like in certain towns in northern Arkansas and southern Missouri and stuff. And it was her car, it was her radio. I'm 10 years old, and it's just fucking Tim McGraw and Travis Tritt and just all this stuff, you know. And I don't, you know, I personally, even today, I can't listen to country music. A lot of the stuff that's on the radio, it's just not my forte. But the corporate country music from the 90s, I actually kind of dig it now. Like anytime the song comes on, it's like, yeah, I know these words. It's like, why hate it? You know, let's love on it. So
there's a lot of good stuff out there. In that early 90s country stuff, especially like I said, you said Travis Tritt and all that. I mean, there's definitely some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So I think, we mentioned Beautiful People, and that's, 2016 that came out? Something like that? Yeah,
the original song came out in 2012. I had like a 5-song EP, and then I never released it on Spotify or any of that. Actually, wait, no, I did. It came out on iTunes, and but I was with the distributor that we only had like a year-long thing, and so after that year, they pulled it. You know, which is fine, because then I discovered like the DIY side of things, and I went with like CD Baby. So you pay a price, and it puts that music on there for like the lifetime of, you know, until you pull it down or whatever. But so then I put 2 more songs on it and released it as a quote unquote deluxe edition. Yeah. So
but I told you off mic. I listened to the deluxe edition there. Like I don't know, it was on repeat all day at work while I was cleaning, and
sweet.
And I really loved it, man. I love that, like, well, one, you know, some of the stories, I mean, I don't know exactly what you went through, but I can kind of pick up that, you know, there's definitely some heartbreak kind of stuff in there. Yeah. And I just, I really connected a lot to what you were writing. And, and I love that too, that like, you know, it's almost like a shuffle, you know, it's like you listen to the EP as a whole, and it goes like, from song to genres, jump all over the place. Each song is completely different than the next, and I just love that about music too. Like some of my favorite artists do a lot of different styles, and like so I don't, you know, it's whenever it kind of gets boring sometimes when all the songs sound the same. But
well, I think that's a battle that I know for a fact I deal with it, and probably a lot of newer modern musicians do too. You know, because the old artist pattern, the old artist, you know, fucking we'll just call it a pattern. Like that's how it works. Like you're known for this music, and everyone expects you to write this music and stuff. And you know, one of my favorite genres of all time is pop punk music. I just love it. And
as you're wearing your Blink-182 shirt,
exactly. Some of the, you know, so some of the stuff I write, like I have 3 or 4 like harder rock, pop punk style songs that are kind of near and dear that I haven't released. You on Spotify or any of that stuff. And for that reason, like if I put it out, I'm worried that people are just going to expect me to write that stuff. And I love writing that stuff, but you can't go to Kevin Babb on Spotify and see Beautiful People and The Devil in the Skies and all that kind of singer-songwriter oriented stuff, and then bam, like a Blink-182 EP, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Mayer. I mean, that's pretty much what he's done, though. Like,
that's true.
You look, he's got pop, he's got blues, he's got Grateful Dead now. He's Americana record. He's done it all and covered the spectrum of So.
And he had a brief stint where he did try to do Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, not like, not on Spotify or anything, but he did, he did like, he did the solo for Beat It whenever Fall Out Boy redid it.
Oh, yeah,
he did that. And I think Fender gave him like, his the Van Halen guitar. And so he toured with it and he did like his version of Panama, which to me, it's laughable because, I mean, he's a blues player attempting to play like, Eddie Van Halen. But, I mean, he motherfucking can play, dude.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, and that's what I think is neat. I mean, I'm sure some people have their favorites, but he's definitely continued to maintain a fan base. People have evolved with him. So
yeah, and that's a very good example.
Yeah.
Who knows? I just said I couldn't do that, but
right.
With that mindset, there's probably a handful of things I can't do.
Right. Yep.
And it's gross.
If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah, Jimmy McElroy.
Well, let's share some tunes from Beautiful People is definitely one I connected to, that whole record. I turned my phone on airplane mode. Now I wish I didn't, because now I can't access the song titles.
Well, what we could do? You could we could cut this out and post. You could like let's share some songs. This song here, and then you could start it like playing Beautiful People or whatever, and then we'll automate the volume and then it'll go up and
which obviously was Beautiful People is a Marilyn Manson cover.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of all your covers, earlier.
You could actually. My buddy Steve did that. Fuck. Let me just pull this down because I'm thinking about showing you this, and I don't think I'm going to be able to unless I actually do it. But so the chorus is it's like I'm a beautiful people, and then you do the beautiful people, the beautiful people. You do some shit like that.
Right.
That is funny.
Yeah. I often do that kind of stuff in my head, like, just like kind of mashing together songs that like are, either similar or the same titles, like it's saying like those in that case and stuff like that too. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
One of them I do in my head a lot, or when it comes on the radio, is oh man, now I'm blanking on the
Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's usually it. That's there's a man, it's like a Van Morrison tune. I think it's maybe Moon Dance or something.
Okay.
One of them, and then like there's like a sing along kind of thing at the end, or like, and then like I always just imagine instead of like what he does, like I imagine like Axl Rose like coming in and then like sha-na-na-na-na-na-nee, and like it just
dude, I do that stuff all the time. Lately it's pop country stuff.
Right.
Hang on, I can't just say it and not do it. Hang on. Let me fire this guy up. There might be a clip right here, so I apologize if it clips out on you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah. I do this when your legs don't work like they used to before. Country pop music, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
I don't even remember.
you pick your heels tonight. The little red dress is choice again tonight. And I can hear your footsteps in the street. You're a walking nightmare and I feel you getting close to me. Step up to me, lady, let me look into your eyes. I don't know much, but one of the things I know is you're the devil in disguise. Well, there's a billion people out there, but I know that you're one of a kind. And if I don't remember who I'm dealing with, I might not like what I find. Take a break from your throne and come up for a little bit of air. I'm talking temptation, obligation, hesitation, but I know that you're the devil and the devil just doesn't care. And I can see you pick your prey tonight. I almost feel so sorry for that guy. I wanna say, hey man, come join my club. We're just a couple of young bucks who've been taken advantage of. Step up to me, lady, let me look into your eyes. I don't know much, but one of the things I know is you're the devil in disguise. Well, there's a billion people out there, but I know that you're one of a kind. And if I don't remember who I'm dealing with, I might not like what I find. Take a break from your throne now, baby, come up for a little bit of air. I'm talking temptation, obligation, hesitation, but I know that you're the devil and the devil just doesn't care. Yeah, the devil just doesn't care. Step up to me, lady, let me look into your eyes. I don't know much, but one of the things I know is you're the devil in disguise. Yeah. Well, there's a billion people out there, but I know that you're one of a kind. And if I don't remember who I'm dealing with, I might not like what I find. Yeah, take a break from your throne now, baby, come up for a little bit of air. I'm talking temptation, obligation, hesitation, but I know that you're the devil and the devil just doesn't care. Yeah, the devil just doesn't care. No, the devil just doesn't care. I said the devil just doesn't care.
I think we were going to talk about some tunes. I particularly liked Little Bit of Trouble.
A Little Bit of Trouble?
And Can't Get Away.
Yeah. Dude, that's the one, man. That's Can't Get Away is my favorite song from that.
Yeah?
Yeah, and dude, that's awesome that you like that song. That's great. Because all my favorite songs are the ones that no one really likes, and all my unfavorite songs are the ones that everyone likes. And it always works like that for some reason. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to do that a lot. Like I become more of a fan of like the B-side.
Yeah. That's where the treasure is, man. That's where you really get to know, like, the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you like to hear one of those songs or both of those songs?
Yeah, man.
Let me here we go. I got to pick. Let's start with Little Bit of Trouble. That song. Actually, you know what? I think I think that song in particular was kind of written about a girl in my life years ago. That was like the first part of it is kind of about like a different girl, and then the second part about it is like about another girl. So it's weird, man. It's like 2 songs in one, and then yeah, what a fun time.
Yeah, it's interesting. I always find that stuff interesting.
Do you have any more questions about it? Or should I just play it?
Yeah, it's sounding good to me, man.
You, something special. I wonder what you think about all the things I've done to you. Me, contradiction. I think I might owe you one, or maybe 20 now, if we keep count. 'Cause you make me feel like I'm always competing when you open those secrets. I wonder what you're keeping. Open your heart so I can feel it beating, yeah. Got that look, the one you think everyone's out looking for, but not no more. You're feeling so good with that look in your eyes, but you never really knew how much they despise you when you know it's true. Cause you make me feel like I'm always competing. Open your heart, tell me what you're keeping. In your life, tell me what you're seeing in there. And I might think you're a little misleading. Won't you open your heart, tell me what you're keeping. Yeah, open your heart so I can let it beating, yeah. But in her eyes, oh, I see. Yeah, she's the only one for me. Because you make me feel like I'm always competing. They are all these feelings. Do you really think that you will keep me around? And I might think you're a little misleading. Won't you open your heart, show me what's it keeping? Open your heart so I can feel it beating, yeah. Open your heart, but in her eyes, oh, I see. She's the only one for me.
Yeah, man. Beautiful.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot like the whole chorus. As I was singing it, but I want you to keep it that way because that's what music's about, man. It's about authenticity.
It's real, man.
Yeah. Fucking keep it that way.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that sounded great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And I love the, like, I was kind of talking about some of the different styles you do, and that one, I don't know, kind of gave me like a 50s almost, like that, or that kind of vibe in there with some of that stuff. Some of those pop tunes.
Sure. If you listen to the actually recorded the studio version of it, it's got like a little shuffle to it. It reminds me of Edward Scissorhands. I don't know why, but it just like when I hear it, it's kind of like it's kind of, it's like it's got like a okay vibe to it, but then something bad happens.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't know, but it's still like on a major scale type of song, Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. Yeah, but like I said, man, like parts of that song was written about a girl that I was really, really into that was in my life, and then the other parts of that song was written about a girl that was in my life. I don't know if I was really that into her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned Emily Wallace earlier, and you can come see Kevin and maybe hear that song with Emily Wallace and Joshua Eaker over at Naked Vine on September 11th, Tuesday night, 7 to 9, as part of Rock Paper Podcast Singer-Songwriter Storytelling Showcase. And man, I'm super pumped that you agreed to do this, man, because I've been having a great time doing these, and I'm excited that you're going to be out there doing it live and getting to share some of these tunes and stories, and especially since you said like a lot of times you do typically a lot of your gigs are cover stuff, so like I'm excited to see you get out there and playing all these originals. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing Josh. I haven't seen him play live. I know that before Josh was on the bill that Dylan was going to be there.
Yeah.
Another great musician. And I always like I don't know, I just like being a fly on the wall when it comes to the original cats and like seeing how they do things and how they conduct. I've been lucky enough to have a dude that introduced me to a handful of touring musicians, and one thing that I notice about a lot of the road guys and gals is that they have like this itinerary that they stick to, because they've done it a handful of times and they know what people are going to laugh at and they know what people aren't going to laugh at. And it's interesting to me. It's almost like an acting type of thing because, they jump on stage, they get behind the mic and they turn into a completely different person than when they're off the mic.
Right.
And it's like, hey, if that's what it takes, great. But, like if I'm having a shitty day and I get up on stage, it's like, I'm probably going to play more of my sad songs than I'm going to play my unsad songs,
Right. Yeah. I particularly, my taste tends to lend to a lot of really sad, depressing music. In my personal life, I'm very happy. Like I don't consider myself dumb, but like I'm drawn to a lot of that music though. And I don't know what it is, but like, I like it all, but like I typically find myself listening to a lot of really dark, sad songs.
Yeah. You cry a lot?
Not really. I'm but I'll tell you the truth though, like if I ever
do cry a lot.
Well, if I watch like any of those like America's Got Talent or American Ninja Warrior,
you cry more?
Yeah, those get me because like they always have like some super sad stories, and I'm
dude,
like,
and they've gotten worse, man. Like over the years, they're getting worse. Like sure, in 08, 09, like when you watch that stuff, they'd skim the surface a little bit,
right?
But now it's like Jonathan lost his arm and he has no nerves in his face, and he's he can't sing, but he's going to do it anyway.
Right?
It's like now it's participation trophies.
Yeah.
You know why? Because bullying is out.
Yep.
Yeah. My mom said that the other day. She's like, "Have you seen The Boys?" Like, no. She's like, "Well, bullying's out." It's like, okay.
But then, like a Ninja Warrior, some guy will come on there that lost his legs or whatever, and then run the course, and I'm like, it's not like a sad cry or what, but it's like I get inspired, man. It's motivational. It's like, and it just brings a tear to my eye, like just that, like some of these people do this crazy stuff, and like they don't let things stop them from. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. I don't know. I guess I look at things as like a performer, and I think I don't know. I think certain stages need to be saved for the best.
Right.
You know, American Ninja, American Warrior is not one of those stages.
Right.
You know, but I get it. You know, whenever I'm able to kind of come back into like my, you know, come back down to earth and be like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, you know, I don't know. Sorry, my cat's getting in a backpack. Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. It's interesting how that works, man.
So would you, we kind of mentioned that, but like, do you ever, would you ever do any of those shows? The voice or they brought Idol back now and stuff, and
I've tried.
You've tried?
I've tried, and I've gotten to a point where I've like signed contracts, and I got to go meet all the producers and like try out for American Idol years ago, and I think it was like 2010, and I'm really glad that I didn't like, you know, make it to TV.
Right.
You know, like I was saying earlier, I'm not a big fan of authority, and I mean it really does take a village to get anything done, but whenever you sign away your life to those people, man, like even if you get on TV, there are clauses in those contracts that whenever you know they kick you off or you're not voted on or whatever, like you can't release any original music,
right?
For until people forget about you, basically. And sometimes it could be 5, sometimes it could be 10 years and stuff. And Emily Wallace and I have had this conversation before, you know, because she got like a message from, actually, I don't know if I should really be discussing this, so, you know, edit this out if you think you should. But Emily was telling me how she got a message from like America's Got Talent or American Idol or one of those shows and said, hey, if you come try out, we'll make sure that you make it to like the TV spots. And I think I'm pretty sure she was battling with it for a minute too, but she ended up not doing it, you know, which is great. You know,
I feel like as cool as like some of that stuff is, and it really can like make your career overnight. In some cases, I feel like it also is like become like the thing everybody hates too, because like as the people that are working musicians, like. You know, anytime people hear you sing or whatever, they're like, that, I'm sure they bring it up a lot. Like everybody's like, hey, you should do that show, and it's like,
that's how people compare it.
Right.
That's how people weigh it. Like if you're not on American Idol, then you're nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't like that. But I do think whoever created that was Simon Cowell that created American Idol and like those talent shows, right?
Yeah, he was a big part of it. Him and Nigel or whatever is his.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of genius because they could probably forecast that the music industry and physical CD sales and all that stuff was going downhill, you know. And it's like, okay, well, let's start hiring some puppets, you know, make a big thing out of it. You know, those things are very, very interesting. Like when I was younger, I was really hoping that I would have got on one of those shows, and now that I'm not, it's like, man, I'm so happy I get to sleep all day and play my cover gigs and pet my cats.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a buddy, Matt. He did pretty well on the show, and he's doing real well now. Afterwards, down in Nashville, writing and doing his own thing, and doing real well with that. And there was just recently there was I'm blanking on her name now, but local St. Louis singer did real well on The Voice as well, and she made it pretty far and stuff.
Young girl, right?
I don't know. I don't know her age, but she did pretty well, and it was cool to see like they were having like watching parties or whatever in St. Louis and stuff, and supporting her. But I don't know, man. I don't know why that's the
like a stigma.
Why it's the it defines like that's if you like you're saying if you can make it on there, then that means people think you're good. Then it's like the same talent regardless if you went on that show or not. So
I got a buddy that is back and forth from Las Vegas a lot. And they would do like residencies, like American Idol would do residencies in Las Vegas for a little bit. They would have all the stars come there. And anyway, he was friends with a couple of sound guys, and he was saying that a lot of what they were doing was polishing turds. Verbatim, that's what he said, you know. And I believe it. I believe it because American Idol, I think it's once again a double-sided sword. I think it's great that they can take people who sing in their car and have great voices and take them straight to the top, but you're kind of bypassing all those informative years of what it really of those pieces that you need to be a performer,
Sure.
to be like a touring musician. I tried to play drums one summer. I can play drums for like 5 minutes and make you like think that I'm a decent drummer, but after like 10 minutes I fall apart. And the point of the story is that I actually quit and I sold my drum kit because, as a guitar player, I spent all my, I spent my 8 hours a day in my room playing guitar, and I think that shows. Right. As a drummer, when I'd start falling apart, it's like, man, like he doesn't have that 20 years of playing music in his room, and and that's why I don't know, like for me, it's really overthought, like when it comes to like hobbies, because that's time that could be dedicated to something else, like, playing guitar or, honing my original skills and things like that, But going back to the American Idol thing, I think you need that stuff, man.
Well, I mean, I think it's evident in the fact that of the winners of all those shows, what you can name, like Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, like, that's about it. Like the rest of them are kind of fizzled out and stuff because, like, like you're saying, you need that little bit of more of that, real experience to get you there, and not just a face and a good voice. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Kelly Clarkson is like the female Jonah Hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like every time you see her, like she her weight fluctuates really quick.
All right.
Have you noticed that?
Well, I noticed a while because she was on The Voice too as a judge, and like,
was she?
And she was pregnant, so it's like,
oh, okay, well, never mind.
So she was definitely a lot bigger then, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah,
she's got a good voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Every now and then I'll be up late and I'll be watching like YouTube videos, and I'll see this video. I've seen it a couple times now. It's like top 5 singers that can still hit all the high notes, and Kelly Clarkson had one of those songs. Since You've Been Gone, I think is the name of it, and she hits like a super high note in there, and I guess she can still do it because they showed it, and I was like, holy shit. You know who I'm really impressed with these days is Patrick Stump, the singer from Fall Out Boy. Yeah, well, I saw him in 2006 at like a ho-ho show, and he had his hat on. He really wasn't like a performer per se like he is now, and he was singing his songs, but every time I saw him, like, singing Sugar We're Going Down, like, on MTV or whatever, like, his voice would fall apart halfway through. And then in 2014, I saw him, and, this is post Fall Out Boy hiatus. This is post him doing his solo thing. This is post him, losing all the weight and doing all that stuff, man. But not only did he hit every single high note on the album, but he went, like, over. And I was like, dude, yes, there it is. That's what I was hoping for when I was 6. But...
yeah.
I'm proud of you, Pat.
Yeah. He's a big fan, man. He's been listening.
Yeah.
The one I always think of is I remember seeing Hoobastank on like a VMAs or whatever, one of those kind of things. And they performed The Reason live. Yeah. And it was pretty awful. And he just couldn't do those, replicate it, especially at least that night. I don't know if but he definitely couldn't do it.
That's a pretty high tune as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And but it kind of fell apart for him.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I got a question for you. How was that A-list party that you went to?
Oh, that was a good time.
Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm friends with a handful of people like Kelly Lamb and her fiance Gord and stuff. They're all a big part of that. Did you get a chance to meet them?
No, I didn't meet anybody through the St. Louis magazine, but it was super cool to be included, man. Like it was.
Did you get hammered?
No, I don't drink.
Good for you.
Yeah, just never been my thing.
Good for you, man. That's great.
But there was plenty of free booze around, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So where was it at?
In Clayton.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I moved out to Clayton this year.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That you've been doing your podcast for so long, and I know that you have over 600 episodes and stuff. When did you start this podcast?
May 2014.
Jeez. Okay, so that's wow.
Yeah, man.
You've jam-packed like 20 years of podcasts into like 4 years. That's awesome.
Right.
What's your release schedule? You just release like a couple times a week or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were like when we started it was me and my buddy Chris. We did the show together for the first like year, and it was usually one a week, occasionally a second one.
Wow.
And then after Chris stepped away, I started just recording all the time. It was sort of like a an opportunity for me to rebrand the show and as something new, because it was just my voice. And then I started to record all the time, and I started releasing like 3 a week, and then somebody told me some advice, like just keep your foot on the gas, or somebody else is going to be hungry for it and pass you up. And that resonated with me at that time, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm keeping this up, man. Because I got to a point where I was like kind of getting where I felt like I probably should slow down, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, like I'm just gonna keep going. And every now and then, like, I might be 1 week where I've only one episode comes out or two or whatever, but for the most part I've been doing like 3 or 4 for the last like 3 years now.
That's great. That's great, man. I think it takes something like that to something like your podcast to showcase individuals, because we're in a city that, I don't know, man, like entertainment wise, we kind of really don't know what we're doing.
Right.
I don't know, like, yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to kind of be a common thread through the city.
Yeah,
you know, like,
that's great, and you're doing a good job at it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
man. We have a lot of pockets. You know, there's a lot of different areas of St. Louis music, and you know, different. You know, just different scenes or whatever. But you know, there's a lot of people that don't always play together, and that's sort of what I'm trying to do with the singer-songwriter thing too. Some of them are friends. I know you and Emily are friendly, but like, you know, I'm introducing Josh to it and all stuff, like, you know, kind of trying to use the show as also as like a form of, but you know, besides the podcast, also the showcases too, just to try to bring people together and stuff. So people have been wearing the shirts now, and they're like,
podcast shirts,
sweet, and, you know, it's like, and that's super cool, and regardless, but like, it's become like a conversation thing. Like, people see people wearing them, like, hey, you know Shane too. I've been on that show, or
that's
whatever.
Great.
So like, that's
where do you get those shirts at?
Me.
Do you have them online?
In my back of my car.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so right on, man. Like skimming them out of your car. That's badass. Man. Dude, talking about Emily and I's friendship, we do have a very interesting friendship. Right. Like, she's one of the coolest people I know. I love running into her. Just like a 10-second, like, sentence from her can brighten up anybody's day. It's crazy. Oh, yeah. Her and I, like, so right now we're in, let's see, we're just south of River to Pear. So South City-ish, but we're like in the county technically. And she's over in the city. And we're probably like 4 miles apart, but the only time I ever hang out with Emily is in Mexico. Yeah. The country.
Yeah, I knew
Isn't that crazy?
I knew she traveled down there quite a bit. And
yeah, she, you know, we're both mutual friends of this fellow that has this like, it's called the Mad Love Surf Safari, and it's part of like a music festival thing too. And yeah, man, we're both fortunate enough to travel down there and hang out and play music and have a good time, man. But we always talk about hanging out, and same with Jim Peters. You know Jim Peters?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We always talk about getting together, and you know, whenever you're away from home, like it's all about all the great things you're going to do when you get back at home. Mm-hmm. And if you're anything like me, you get back and you're like, man, I just want to sit on that couch. I really like to sit on the couch. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, talking about Mexico, I'd like to share this story with you, and the listeners, of course. I moved down to Austin, Texas for a brief minute. I was down there long enough to know that I wasn't going to make any money. But I want to say it was the last week I was down there, I got an invite to go to Mexico. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I bailed on, you know, the couple low-paying gigs I had in Austin, and I flew down to Mexico to, you know, hang out at this Surf Safari Festival. And I got to, that was the first time I met Emily Wallace. And we're sitting there and we're talking about like the music scene and stuff. And I went to bed that night and I pulled out like a little, like a note on my iPhone, and I made like a note of 10 things that I would like to do once I got back to St. Louis. Or maybe it was like 6 things, I don't know. Let me see if I still have that, because wouldn't that be interesting to read on the podcast?
Yeah, man.
I would love to read that. Let's see if it's, I got my fingers crossed that I still have this, because I remember that being like a pretty great note.
Number 1, do a podcast.
You know what, man? I don't think I have it. Bummer. Bummer. Well, anyway, I made this list. Yeah, I made this list that night of like if I move to St. Louis, if I move back to St. Louis, like what am I going to do? And I'm kind of leaving a lot of parts of the story out, like, you know, some of the listeners and even you, I have a digestive disease. I have ulcerative colitis, and every now and then when it flares up, it kind of floors me for a little bit, and my weight fluctuates. I drop a lot of weight, and I gain weight and drop weight and stuff. But whenever I go into like those flares, man, it's like a very trying time mentally and physically. But I had just gotten out of a flare, and then I moved down to Austin, and then I was still kind of battling it a little bit when I was in Mexico. And, you know, with the fact that I wasn't making a lot of money and I walked away from my network in St. Louis, I was like, okay, maybe it would be a good thing to come back to St. Louis. So I make this note, and one of the things was, you know, to get involved with music in South City. And, man, I don't know. I just want to pause for a moment of gratitude, because if it wasn't for music, the last job I had before I started playing music, I was changing oil and washing cars at a Honda dealership, and I was closed-minded. I was upset about everything. Anything that changed, you know, just ruined my life basically. And then when I started playing music, man, like I met like probably 98% of like some of the greatest people I know, like in my network. Well, just my network period. Like when I started playing music, you know, my girlfriend that I live with, you know, her brother-in-law is a manager at one of the places that I play. He was my boss, you know, and Emily, like all these people, Jim and Emily and all these other musicians, like I probably wouldn't have met them, you know, changing oil and washing their car, you know, because people really don't invite you to Mexico for changing their oil because they don't give a shit, you know. Right. Yeah, so I was saying, you know, thank God for music.
Yeah, man.
Long story short, ended up moving back. And have you been to Austin?
Nope.
Dude, it's fucking expensive, man. It's like the southern Los Angeles with like 8 less highway lanes and no beach. Dude, it's rough. Yeah, I saved up a bunch of money to go down there, and I was like hoarding my money. And then when I came back to St. Louis, dude, you should totally do that, man. Like if anyone ever has like money problems, you should just move to a place where like money is hard to come by, and then come back to St. Louis and be like, oh, like this is how this works. It's easy here. Anyway, I like the day I got back, I went and bought like a TV, an Xbox, a Bluetooth speaker. You know, I'm like one of those like hard purchasers. Like, I don't know, I have buyer's remorse with like fucking everything I buy. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, getting back on track. What were we talking about? Emily and I's friendship. Yeah, we have a very interesting friendship. But all that stuff I was just talking about, she had a big role in you know, I don't think she knows it, but she had a big role in like influencing me to come back to St. Louis, because I do want to hang out, Emily. I do want to like be here and enjoy the you know, the friends that I have here.
Yeah, it's just, I totally get that, man, because like I was actually you know, I was telling you about how I love meeting new people doing this show, and that I did one. I forget, man, probably at least 2 years now, maybe 3. But I did one with Phil Wright, and he, we you know, it was like us. We'd known each other online, but that was the first time we got to sit and talk on the mic, and. At the time, you know, I was a fan of his stuff, and like he was promoting a show and all this, but like I had no idea, but like he has become one of my best friends.
Nice.
Doing this thing through music, you know. I was like, we don't really get to hang out just because of our personal lives, but like I see him out at all the shows and stuff. We always, you know, talk and hang out there and stuff, but you know, it's just like. It's just kind of cool when you meet somebody through music, and then they become a big part of your life. And like, and I'm so thankful for music introducing me to so many great people along the way. Dude. So
it's, I mean, you know, to the listeners that think that sounds cliche, I mean, you know, it's a different story whenever you're standing in, you know, those shoes.
Sure.
Being like, shit, like we met through music.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you and Emily can hang out a little bit.
Maybe if she ever hears this podcast, she'll think about it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like I know she works at, you know, Friendlies and stuff, and I know all that. You know, I don't know. Like I recently, you know, stopped drinking myself, and well, I don't know. Like I really want to go back, but I know if I do, that it's just, I don't know, going to be game over. Do a lot of musicians you interview, do they have their vices, whether it's, you know, weed or other drugs and alcohol. And,
I mean, I think there's all people.
I mean, we all do, sure, but
Sure.
yeah, like the people you interview and stuff.
There's definitely a lot of these that are recorded with beverage of choice or other different things.
the last interview. Well, the last interview in this format I did, I was. What was it for? It was to promote the Devil in the Skies EP that I have on Spotify, and my buddy came over and he was helping me do like a recorded video interview, and so I was recording the audio and he was recording the video, and I'm actually really glad it didn't work out because I'm sitting in like a fucking unfinished basement with like a rose-colored couch, like it was just terrible. Anyway, much like I'm recording this right now, I didn't realize that like the loop section was on, so we recorded like an hour and a half of audio, but like after 3 seconds it would like start a new track, and it did that for like 1 billion times. And I'm sure there was an easy way to make it all one track, but I just didn't really feel like fucking with it, so I deleted it and we went to start over. So we had like our list of songs, but I'm like, okay, we just spent like an hour and a half doing this, and now I'm ready to party a little bit. Yeah. So I went upstairs and I got him a drink, and then I made myself a drink, and then I went outside and smoked for a little bit. And I came back down, and dude, we recorded that. It's like a 15-minute video of us trying to redo like what we just did, man. But I'm like, I'm high out of my mind, and I'm thinking I'm drinking like a Coke and whiskey, but it's actually like all whiskey with like a splash of Coke.
All right.
Yeah, it's weird, man. But dude, it was so funny. Like every question that was asked, my mind just went blank. And it's like, it's my life, but I think I'm just thinking so many different thoughts that I can't figure out which one's going to come out of my mouth.
All right.
Anyway, good times.
Yeah.
But, no, it's funny.
You want to play another live one?
Yeah, dude. Let me. I want to play that "Can't Get Away" song that you were also talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I want to. What's up, kitty? This song, my mother bounced around a lot of different relationships. And when I was like 21, 22, I kind of felt like that maybe I was destined to not be able to have a successful relationship or, a long-lasting relationship. But man, like if I can do it, I think anybody can do it, man. There's a lot of things that come with accepting change and who people can be and who it opens you up to be. But anyway, this song's called Can't Get Away. This morning with a smile on my face, and I know it's because you were gone. It could have been you, but it was probably me. Something I didn't really want to see, but I knew that I was moving in all along. Is where you are, is where you'll be. Don't want you to wait around for me. It's another story about how my life is passing me by. And I've been dancing around the truth, wondering what I'm supposed to do about these days that I'm stuck and I can't get away. Get away. I can feel the winter wind upon my face, the warmer embers to a safer place, yeah. The summer waters have all passed by, and I found myself in a deeper hole, one that I could really never know, but I knew that I was moving in all alone. Is where you are, is where you'll be. Don't want you to wait around for me. It's another story about how my life is passing me by. And I've been dancing around the truth, wondering what I'm supposed to do about these days that I'm stuck and I can't get away.
get away. This way you are, this way you'll be. So what's to wait around for me? It's another story about how my life is passing me by. And I've been dancing around the truth, wondering what I'm supposed to do about these days that I'm stuck in. Get away. Get away. Get away. No, I can't get away. No. Oh. Get away.
Yeah, man.
Man, that's so cool, man. I love the, man, I remember like the day I wrote that song, dude.
Yeah.
I remember like the setting, and I remember like, I used to live on Main Street in St. Charles, and like it's like early November. It's like you walk out on your patio, and it's like, fuck, it's winter. You can feel it, you know? It's like that river's probably cold. Yeah. I don't know. And I wrote that song, you know, same thing about one of the girls that I kind of fooled myself into thinking I cared about on a certain level when I really didn't. And, you know, which also made me think, it's like, fuck, I'm destined for this. I'm destined to be a lonely fella. But the words prevailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Great tune. Well, that's so we mentioned all available on Spotify, I guess on iTunes and all that other anywhere digital music's at, right?
Yes. Do we have time to answer the Facebook questions?
Yeah, of course.
All right. We got a couple questions from the Facebook page, and we'll answer all of them. Yeah. Did you get one as well? Was there another question, or was that? Oh wait, never mind. I'm thinking of the Lauren Butler thing. She said that you're her husband's cousin.
Yeah, that was a small world kind of thing.
Yeah. What if you're like, I've never heard of her? That'd be great. Okay, so here are the questions. Number 1 from Chris Corley. You eat ass or nah? And my response is, a gentleman never tells. But no, I really don't. Second question is favorite acoustic guitarist and favorite electric guitarist, from Peter Catalano. Dude, this guy, by the way, I got to give a shout out to Pete, because he's like super cool. He's retired. He's very creative. He's got a joke for you, and I only see him probably 2 or 3 times a year at this point, because I used to play at a winery by his house that, you know, we'd see him every time I'd play there. But anyway, great guy, Pete. Hope you're listening. Excellent question, by the way. I think my favorite acoustic guitar player is Jack Johnson. I think yeah. And here's why. Because if you listen closely to some of his riffs, he's got a lot of pull-offs and like overlays, like the Jimi Hendrix, he's got that blues thing going on. And but he like sprinkles it on really elegantly, like the way he plays, you know? And it's like that's super cool. There's world class, and then there's overplaying. And Jack Johnson is obviously world class.
Yeah, man.
So, second part of that question, favorite electric guitar player. Favorite electric guitar player would probably be, God, I don't know. There's like 10 answers that if I say, like, it's all going to be like, oh well, yeah, that's a given, you know, like. But I think Eddie Van Halen is my favorite guitar player. You know, his stuff. It's like unorganized, just chaos that makes sense somehow. You know, and it's, you know, phenomenal. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there that would hear me say that and be like, oh, that's bullshit. It's organized, blah, 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 you know, but it feels dirty. It feels like, you know, I don't know. It just feels different. But honorable mention, because he plays a mixture of he plays an electric guitar with acoustic strings. Martin Sexton. Have you ever heard of Martin Sexton?
I know his name.
Dude.
I don't think I know anything.
Dude, you gotta get on the train, man. Martin Sexton is the dude that John Mayer was into before John Mayer became John Mayer. Yeah, man, Martin Sexton. He's the guy. He's the guy. I was fortunate enough to open up for him at the old Rock House back in early 2015.
Nice.
You know, I got to be a fly on the wall, like in his performance, and he let me ask him a couple questions in the green room, which is like super dope. But yeah, Martin Sexton. I think a lot of my guitar playing is probably shaped right now from Martin Sexton, dude. There's so many riffs that I do that are like, bam, from that guy. So I would say most influential guitar player for me is Martin Sexton. So thank you for the question, Peter. Let's see. Last question. Who's your biggest influence? Two-part question. Who's your biggest influence? And if you were a famous musician, if you weren't a famous musician, what would you do? Well, if I wasn't a musician, what would I do? So my biggest influence, once again, would probably have to be Martin Sexton, just because he influenced me during a time when I needed to be influenced,
All right.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I like that. And he's just pure. He's real, man. He's from New York, like upstate New York, and he's just that East Coast, and he's got like this thing to him, man. Like, you'll have to meet him. You need to meet Martin Sexton. And if I weren't a musician, what would I do? Probably something with technology. I'm a fan of this stuff. Whenever a new piece of gear comes out, like my first question is like, okay, where's the spec sheet? I got to find out what type of processors it has on it, because that really gets me pumped up. Yeah. And same thing with, computers and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, Shane.
Yeah. Yeah, we are recording this in Kevin's home studio here.
Yeah, and it's, there's not a lot of outboard gear here. I've got a couple, universal audio pieces of equipment for, one thing is obviously the interface that we're recording into, and then the other one is a piece for their plugins, because they a lot of their plugins are hardware, they need hardware to operate. And then this guy is just, that's just the controller for the microphone. Yeah. So, yeah.
Did you do a lot of the record yourself, or did you go to a studio somewhere?
So Beautiful People, every song on there, actually every song that is released from me, with the exception of one, was recorded from Matt Amelung over at Encapsulated.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, good buddy.
Yeah. You know Matt?
Oh, yeah.
Right on, yeah. Yeah, he recorded everything. He mixed and he mastered. He did not master, actually, wait, you know what he did? He did master the Devil in Disguise thing, but we tried this new thing because I'm starting to get involved with production. I recorded my song San Francisco that's on Spotify. I recorded that song, and then I shot it over to him to mix it and master it, and he did a great job. The song kicks ass. I think next time I go to record something, I'm gonna try and go all the way and see if I can actually do it, because if I do that, I can save money and believe in myself.
All right.
Yeah, dude, I got a question for you. What do you think about Uggs for men? Did you see my post the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can be honest. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you think it sucks.
I mean, I have no idea. I've never tried them on, but I'm a big fan of comfort. So
yeah.
If they're really comfortable,
right?
Forget it, man. It doesn't matter what you look like,
yeah.
As long as you're having a good time with it,
dude. You ever do that? You ever ask people a question just to see their mind getting all shook up? You ever do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was my question of the year, because everyone was like, no, hell no. Somebody said yes. There was one of my friends' moms said yeah,
oh, yeah.
And I was like, it's totally cool, but it's like, I think I think you have your mind made before you ask the question. You just want other people's approval, because naturally we're human beings, like we want other people's approval. But what did I read yesterday? I put that question out and I get all the hate response, and then I read like a quote that was like, man, like, don't deny yourself authenticity to appease others or something like that, and I think we all know that, like, baseline, we know that, but we just forget it so much because we want to be part of the crowd, we want to be part of the pack, And unfortunately, man, like artistry is just not, you're an artist that like that by definition is not part of the pack.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's the definition, but you know what I mean. So
I thought of Office Space when you said all that, like when that scene was like, nah, man, nah. Hell no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked for something like that.
shit, no. Dude, yeah. Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I just watched that movie. It was the first time she ever saw it, like
really?
2 weeks ago, yeah. And then second question for you, because we're, our singer-songwriter event is going to be on 9/11. Do you think 9/11 was an inside job? Are you gonna get in trouble for responding?
Probably.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
No?
It's I've seen you mentioned some like the top 5 video or YouTube video and stuff, and I find myself going down a wormhole of YouTube videos a lot, and I watch all those crazy conspiracy videos and all these things, and I'm like,
You listen to Joe Rogan a lot?
no, it depends on his guest.
Yeah.
I have a couple. There's a few shows I listen to, but like, but Joe, I picked by who I particularly enjoy, like as his guest and things. So, but I mean, there's a lot of like videos out there, obviously, with all kinds of different information about 9/11 and
yeah. I discovered that book, Behold a Pale Horse. A Pale White Horse or some shit. Did you hear about that book?
I don't think.
It's so right now Alex Jones is like the #1 conspiracy guy, but there was a dude before him who wrote this book, and I forget what his name is, but for like 2 nights in a row, I went down that rabbit hole of conspiracy, and it was fun. It was fun to hear all this different stuff, but man, I don't know. My girlfriend kind of put me on the right track. She, of course, didn't want to talk about the shit. And, no problem there. But, like, I don't know. I'm just sitting there getting frustrated and, like, nervous. And then, like, some things that are kind of scaring me a little bit, because I feel like I develop, like, this empathy, like almost like an empath. Like, I develop it over, like, certain things. And it's like, man, I can get myself all emotionally riled up for something I'm never going to find out the answer to. And it's like, maybe not. I don't know.
So how do you feel about lizard people then?
I don't know. Is that a new thing? Is that... What are they talking about?
I don't know. Apparently, there's lizard people among us.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think there's aliens among us?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. Whenever you're like out and about and you see somebody with like, really definitive characteristics like in their face, and like, have you ever noticed that? Like, people look like other people. It's like we're all from like a different zone of human being.
Right.
And like, I don't know. I personally think that we probably have been, quote unquote, infiltrated by aliens that, look like us. And sorry if we lost any listeners, going down this road. But yeah, no, that's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if lizard people, I mean, are they disguised or do they look like lizards?
They look like humans, but like I guess they have, like there's a lot of like, videos on YouTube of like people's eyes like blinking vertically and
really,
or so like they have like or something like that. I don't know. It's like,
do they wear sunglasses?
Maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, lizards like out in nature don't wear sunglasses.
Right.
I guess I don't know. I guess that question was indirectly from the movie Battleship. Yeah, because remember the aliens invaded and they were like fucking lizards or something, and they had to wear those like helmets that like blocked out the sunlight.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think they were like lizard beings or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I blanked now. There's something I was gonna say. Add to a point. Obviously, it was really important. So.
Dude, I
don't know.
I forget stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's cool. We should write a song about it.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
There's I don't know. There's just a lot of weird shit out there, man. There's a lot of stuff unexplained. Mm-hmm. I did think. Now I remember now. I was gonna say I did go see Greta Van Fleet the other day.
Yeah. What'd you think?
They're good. They're talented at what they do. But there's part of me thinks that maybe that they're just aliens that had like a Led Zeppelin DVD or something, and like they like studied that and like how to be a musician or something like that. Because like because it's pretty eerie how well he can replicate that voice. But like that's about the only trick he knows. Like the rest of like, I felt like if I would have just listened maybe a half an hour of the music or something like that, like I probably would have like left thinking like that was the best band ever, kind of thing. But like when they stretched out to like an hour and a half headliner set, it's like, it's like
from one popular song.
Well, they've got a couple on the radio.
Do they?
But they all like sound like Led Zeppelin and like and like when he's doing that like screaming the whole time, that trying to do that Robert Plant stuff the whole time, like Zeppelin had a bunch of different stuff in there too, but like it felt like it was like Zeppelin on 10 the whole time, and it's like for an hour and a half, and it's like it just didn't work for me. So I don't know. Some people had a good time. From my personal experience, I just didn't. I wasn't super into it. But
there's a video on YouTube of them like playing to like a listening room or something, and it's so funny because they're playing full drum kit, they're playing with their amps and everything, and then like a foot from the stage, there's just people sitting in chairs. Have you seen that video?
I've seen that.
No. Here's my question: is the guy looks pretty small? Is he a pretty small guy like in real life?
Yeah, I think they're all like not very large individuals.
Oh yeah, they're aliens.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I'm pretty sure.
They're aliens.
I mean, if not, I'm starting that conspiracy here, so hopefully that'll go viral.
What do you think about Rival Sons?
I love them.
Yeah,
big fan.
I mean, they've got their own thing. Sure, they might sound like Led Zeppelin, but they've got their own thing, like over here.
Well, and they do a lot more. I feel like less Zeppelin. I feel more Doors.
Okay.
Especially on a couple of the songs. There's like, and even watching them live, like Jay moves on stage like he like lets the music come through him like Morrison did, like like
really?
It's like the way he moves and sings the songs and stuff, and like so I feel more Doors, but there's like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of other it's just right derivative right from great classic rock, so but no, I'm a big fan of Rival Sons. They play, and they're great live, good dudes. Got to hang with them a couple times at some of the shows.
That's great.
I saw them one night at Rose Music Hall in Columbia.
Yeah.
And the next night they were opening for Sammy Hagar at Riverport. So I was like,
that's cool.
It's kind of crazy to go seeing them in a small club, going to play in an amphitheater.
Yeah, because Rose used to be what, Mojo's?
Right. Yeah.
Mojo's.
Yeah. But it was just cool. Like like I said, I saw them on the way up, and I just saw them recently at Del Mar Hall. Saw them at the pageant once also, but getting to see them in a small club like that, and then getting to hang with them afterwards and get my record signed and all that. And
that's cool.
So,
did you go to the Urge show on Friday, by the way?
No, I didn't make that one.
I really wanted to go to that one. Steve Ewing actually taught me how to sing.
Oh yeah.
Let me backtrack. I knew how to sing very poorly, and then I in the STL Punk days. No, it was MySpace. I saw an ad that Steve was saying like, "Hey, like I'm giving vocal lessons." Like, yeah, dude, I'd love to pay fucking $20 to get taught, or just sit there and just listen to him talk.
Sure.
And he taught me how to sing for probably, I don't know, like 6-7 months, and then we actually recorded some songs together and stuff. And Steve's awesome.
Yeah, he's the coolest man.
Have you ever had him on here?
Yeah,
right on.
He was episode 5.
Nice.
So he's been a supporter since the beginning.
Wow. Has he been on since?
Yeah, we did episode 100. He came back on, and we hung out. The early that was right at the we actually recorded that on the Hill location for Steve's Hot Dogs.
Nice.
And we kind of talked about the gearing up for the new location at the time. And then so 100 we came back and we actually recorded at Tower Grove. So it was fun to get to go record over there too.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, Steve's the best, man. He's been a big I was a huge fan, and then it's really super cool to become a great friend now too. I can walk in the shop and immediately, "What's up, Shane?" And we it's just really cool to kind of again just take that to the next level, become a friend and stuff. And
right. That's awesome.
He's a great guy, and he's opened up help lend a hand to all kinds of people around the city to be a big part of this community. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, man.
You got to move to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You got to at least get like a weekend house down here.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's great,
we
man.
gotta get some of that money.
Yeah. You and I both.
Gotta get those sweet podcast checks start rolling in.
Yeah. Are you affiliating with anybody?
Some of that Joe Rogan money.
Yeah, right?
I have some sponsors, yeah.
Nice.
But every little bit helps. But I'm definitely nowhere near that Joe Rogan money.
Yeah.
One of these days, maybe if I talk about conspiracy theories a little more on the show, like today,
Yeah.
then that's the ticket, man.
I would be interested to find out how many listeners kind of, if they make it that far from this interview, I'd be interested to find out like how many we lose at that
Right.
point. Yeah.
Go ahead and write in and let us know when we lost you. If you got
Yeah. Please do. That'd be great. I'd love to hear. Yeah.
Hey man, lizard people, man, you lost me on lizard people. I had to get out. Yeah. I was out of the 47-minute mark.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Well, Kevin, this has been awesome, man. You can get involved with Kevin Babb all over your Facebook. Do you do the Instagram or any of that too?
Yeah, I do Instagram, I do Twitter, I do Tumblr, I do YouTube. Some of those I'm not super active on Twitter. I'm not very active on Tumblr. I think those I'll post on Instagram rather frequently, and a lot of my videos are pretty much up to date. I do have a website, it's just kbabb.com, kbabb.com, and that's I keep my cover schedule up there, and anytime I release like a cover video or something, I'll throw that up, or an original video, and I'll blog on kbabb.com, but I've noticed that like a lot of people really don't give a shit, and that's cool. That's cool because. Have you ever hung out like in a bar and like, it doesn't matter, like you're there because you want to be there with your friends or you're hanging with the bartender or whatever. But you'll see people walk by and they look in, and if not a lot of people's there, they'll just keep moving.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like entertainment has kind of taken that direction,
right.
Lately. Well, I say lately, it's probably always been like that. A lot of people want to be part of something that a lot of other people are already part of.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I think part of it's like people are afraid to pave their own way and think like, I'm not opposed to being the only person in the room, and I think this is cool.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else thinks. Like, this is for me, whatever. But then like there's a lot of people like, they don't jump on a song until like the radio's played it a million times and like shoved it down your throat and like, oh yeah, I love this band or whatever. And it's like, but some people need that, like, somebody to assure them that they're doing something cool or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like,
hey, I'm no stranger to it too. Even I need to drone out sometimes. I say sometimes when I get burnt out, like, cause I play 4, 5, 6 times a week sometimes, and I get burnt out, man. And sometimes I like to sit there and put my iPad on the mic stand and just kind of drone out and just read stuff, read the lyrics, read the chords, and just kind of go blank for a while. Actually, that recharges me because it shuts my mind off,
right.
And who knows? Maybe that's what it does for people. It's,
Sure.
I like this. I like Bieber fever.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
But you can get involved, like I said, kbabb.com for all the dates. Big one for us, where you can come see both of us hanging out at Naked Vine on Tuesday, September 11th, 7 to 9. It's a $5 cover at the door, cash or card. And you can see Kevin along with South City sweetheart Emily Wallace and Joshua Eaker of Brotherly and the Leather Jackals. So he doesn't do a ton of these like acoustic type of singer-songwriter shows. He plays in a hard rock band. So like so I'm really excited to see him in a little stripped down version of what he does. So.
I'm excited to see Emily and I'm excited to see Emily, Josh, and Brian. I haven't seen Brian in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about some drama that took place the other night. Wouldn't mind going to get the scoop on that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, come on out and hang with us. And thank you again, Kevin. This has been a whole lot of fun, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to finally meet you.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's been a good time.
Should we shake hands or like hug it out or something?
I think so.
Okay. Off mic?
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't want things to get too weird on the mic,
That's true. That's true. All right, man. Thanks for having
All
me.
right, thanks, buddy.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.